I wanted to give you a summary of the December Visa Bulletin because we, haven't had a show in the last couple of weeks, so we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So for those of you who have not looked at it or need some interpretation of, what it means, you should, continue listening and watching. So as you all know, the State Department is the one that comes up with the Visa Bulletin every month. And they try and figure out what the available visa numbers are based on the demand and supply. So with reference to this year, FY 2023, so we're actually in fiscal year 2023, which started on October 1st, we have an estimated annual limit this year, a little higher than the basic limit, which is 140,000. We have 197,000. This is because of the unused visa numbers, 57,000 unused family-based visa numbers, which rolled over from last year. So this is good news because there is at least some rollover. Not so good news because last year the rollover was much more. So in 2022, the rollover from 2021, because of the rollover from 2021 family-based cases, the total employment-based cases, we had 281,507. So now 197 versus 281, so about 100,000 less this year, but still a bonus because it's over the regular limit by 57,000. So still there are some extra visas to go around. This is just because during COVID in 2020 and 2021, since the consulates were closed or partially closed, they were not really processing immigrant visa petitions that were filed at the consulate. As a result of which, all those immigrant visa petitions were not being used, and they were instead rolled over to the employment-based category. To 485 cases. So that's why we saw a spike in the numbers available for filing of employment-based cases. But now as consulates have opened up and are going back to business, and they're trying to go back to the normal processing time, and they're trying to clear up the backlog, there's less overflow of family-based cases into employment-based cases, as they're more and more are being used up. So we're seeing that surplus is disappearing, and then you're also seeing retrogression because of that. And we saw a huge retrogression in October, right? Because of that, visa numbers, the supply and demand, the visa numbers not being available, more being used. So having said that, with reference to what the outlook is for 2023. For the December Visa Bulletin, for EB1, the State Department has noted that there's a higher demand for EB1, and as the demand increases, there will be a decrease in the availability of visa numbers, and there will be likely a retrogression. So for EB1 in December, though, we don't see any retrogression as yet. Worldwide visa availability for all the countries and for India and China are current. However, as I said, the State Department has projected that there'll be a retrogression in the coming months for EB1, for India and China. All those who are sitting on the sidelines and need to file EB1s, please do it in December, because January is a different ballgame. We don't know what the retrogression will be, when it will be, and even if it is, then how far the dates go back. So better to be safe than sorry. File if you have, a pending I-140 or an approved I-140, go ahead and, even with the pending I-140, you can file concurrent 485. So I would go ahead and do that and not wait for the I-140 to get approved, because if you file, at least you're in the window. You have filed something. The other update is EB2. EB2 also we are seeing retrogression. not only for India, but also worldwide, which is a little surprising because EB2 has been current worldwide for all other countries for a long time now. So they have retrogressed worldwide as well. So the worldwide category, meaning for all other countries other than China and India, the final action date is November 1st, 2022, which is not too bad. And the dates for filing is December 1, 2022. So it's really the same. Dates for filing and final action date almost the same, November and December 2022. So almost current, but it's unusual to see even that much of a retrogression because we haven't for a while. For Indian nationals, EB2 category, final action dates have retrogressed by more than 6 months. They've retrogressed from April 2012 to October 8, 2011. For filing action dates for filing, as we know, there are two different tables, final action date and dates for filing. USCIS tells us every month, which table to follow. And also for this month, which I didn't mention earlier, but I should mention now, we are following the dates for filing, and usually the dates for filing have dates which are a little earlier than the final action date. So it's always good when they allow us to use dates for filing. Going back to EB2, as I said, cutoff dates for EB2 India, as I said, the final action dates have retrogressed by about 6 months. And the dates for filing remain, pretty much the same, May 2012, which is the same as, it was in November. For Chinese nationals, both final action date and dates for filing remain the same as the November Visa Bulletin. They're in 2019, June of 2019. Now, while we don't have very good news on EB2, EB3 we have better news. As I said, this is the mixed bag. Right. So the EB3.
That's quite a lot of retrogression, though, Ms. Reddy.
I'm sorry?
That's quite a lot of retrogression, quite a lot of categories.
Yes, and that was kind of expected because as the consulates are opening up and they're doing their work as they should. Right. Again, there's back to no availability or less availability like it was in the previous years. So, there is a really immediate need for some kind of immigration reform where they increase the number of visas for Indian and Chinese nationals, or they remove the quota on the visa numbers, or, they use the visa numbers from the previous years. Or there's so many suggestions, but they haven't implemented anything. Use only one visa number for all the family members, not have a separate visa number for each family member. So if there's a family of 4, you're using 4 visa numbers. So anyway, nothing has been implemented so far. We're still waiting. We've been waiting for some years now. Let's hope in this administration, in addition to the present, Republican government, the Senate and the House, they're able to do something, and they come to some kind of a consensus and an agreement on, these pressing immigration issues. But moving on, EB3, as I said, slightly better news. There continues to be availability for EB3 in the worldwide category, meaning EB3 is current for all other countries. For India, the final action dates have advanced by 2 months to June. So that's good news, April to June, June 15, 2012. The dates for filing also have advanced from July to November. So that's 4 months, which is good. July to August, 1 month, sorry. Advance from July to August. So that's a 1 month advancement from November compared to December. So moved by 1 month. So 3 months and 1 month, EB3, final action date and dates for filing. For China as well, the final action dates advanced to August 2018. And the dates for filing advanced to September 2018. So there's a modest, forward movement for the EB3 category. Now, coming to the family-based cases, we shouldn't ignore the family-based cases. There is not much change actually in the December Visa Bulletin. We don't see any movement, either forward movement or retrogression, in both the final action dates as well as the dates for filing for all the family-based cases. The dates remain unchanged from the November Visa Bulletin. Really, it's the same. So spouses and children of permanent residents for Indian nationals still remain current. And this has been good news for the last few years, because I remember at one time a few years ago before COVID, there was like a several year wait, 5 or 6 years wait. If you're married to a permanent resident, to come into the country, for them to be able to sponsor you and you to come into the country. So I remember there was a big joke about how nobody in India wanted to marry permanent residents. They only wanted to marry
Right.
citizens, or they would rather marry someone on a H1 because it's easy to come on a H4. But they didn't. Green card holders were not really getting a lot of good matches because of that.
Their
because
whole motive is lost then.
Yeah, that's true. So because of that, well, now that's not the case. So far, so good. We are still seeing green card holders, spouses, and children continues to be current, but like everything, good things have to come to an end at some point, and I think even this will retrogress. So if you are married to a permanent resident, you should adjust as soon as you possibly can. And that's my brief